and colleagues to this amazing exhibition, Old Cities, New Eyes. It's very good to see you all. It's something that we wanted to put on with the enormous help of our friend Stephanie over at our Consulate General. We wanted to put it on to mark the start of the presidency of the United Kingdom for the Security Council. But I think it's also an opportunity for senior diplomats like my deputy to play a lot with virtual reality. So I hope you all have a really good time and learn a lot from what the exhibition can teach us. In a couple of minutes, I'm going to hand over to Roger Michael, who has been one of the people behind this fantastic project, but I might just say a few words about it first. It's been made possible through a partnership with the Institute for Digital Archaeology. It's an organisation affiliated to the University of Oxford, and it is sponsored by our friends from the Dubai Foundation, who have joined us today, and many thanks indeed for them. I didn't go to Oxford University. I went to a place that is much better known for its high tech. So it's extremely important that it should be Oxford doing the archaeology, and I just wanted to get that dig in. Because I think Roger may have more to, judging by our conversation earlier this evening, I think Roger may have a little bit more to say on that subject. It's obviously important that we preserve our heritage. Too often in conflict, heritage is one of the things that gets destroyed first, and then in all the rightful concern about people, about the environment, sometimes the history gets lost. So I think we're hugely indebted to the work of Roger and his colleagues for what they do to bring that back to life. In the last UK presidency of the Security Council, we passed a resolution on protecting cultural heritage. It's Resolution 2347, and we hope that this exhibit can do something to carry on the spirit of that really important sense of protecting the world's heritage. I might just point out to Roger that the last time I did an exhibition on cities was something very similar, but in Geneva. And at that time, Roger, I won a skateboarding trophy. So no pressure, but I think the bar is set rather high. Ladies and gentlemen, would you welcome Roger Michael?
Thank you very much. I'm indebted to you. I had not realized that Cambridge was still a going concern, but I'm cheered to hear that it is. I also want to say that we have some great things here today, low tech and high tech. The people are having great fun with the VR. The photographs are extraordinary. These are the oldest photographs of Palmyra known. The Getty is going to be telling you in about 6 months that they've got the oldest photographs. These are the oldest photographs. The 3D model on the table there is very interesting. We didn't realize this when we picked it up, but the crazy thing about this is whatever you do to the model actually happens in the real London, and we didn't know this in all the weather that they've had over the last couple weeks. We've had this thing in the overhead storage compartments on airplanes where it gets really hot. We've had it in cold places. Anyway, we're much more careful now, but do be careful. We're completely underinsured, so in any event. The Institute for Digital Archaeology, it's been a crazy journey for us. It was founded about 10 years ago for the purpose of documenting at-risk heritage assets around the world, but it was these monumental scale reconstructions of architecture primarily that really capture people's imaginations. Folks here may have seen the Trafalgar Square installation that we did with Boris Johnson. Michelangelo, sorry, with the then mayor of London, I'll say that. Boris and I were at Oxford together. He's a great guy. Although I went to Balliol and I was at Trinity, so there's a little bit of a history there. Michelangelo, great quote. He said, "The artist sees the angel within the marble and carves to set him free." And I have to say that there's been such a deep emotional connection that people have forged with these stone objects that we have recreated, that I think somehow we have ourselves discovered the means for releasing the spirit in the stone, because there is this palpable energy that comes from these objects that people that people pick up on. We've had 10 million people visit the Arch in Trafalgar Square, at the Dubai World Government Summit, at the G7 conference. We had 2.2 million people there. People really do flock to this thing, and it becomes a significant part of their lives. There are people that talk about this monument being a monument in its own right. It's not just a reconstruction of something else. It's acquired its own personality, its own following, and it really is an amazing thing, and it's been great to be a part of that. And certainly extraordinary technology, like the kind of technology, which by the way, in this case, all UK based, all the technology you see here comes from our partners in the UK, is a key part of what we do. And I hope you walk away today with a deeper appreciation for how science can bring history to life. But there's so much more to cultural heritage preservation than just technology. I have a Lex Luthor, I have this nemesis who works for a peer organization, I'll put it that way. And we're constantly fighting about what's more important, resolution or the extent to which you get stakeholder buy-in, the extent to which you have communities participating in these projects. I veer toward the latter, he veers toward the former. And look, no question, technology is important. These things have to be high quality for people to appreciate them, but at the end of the day, it's people's engagement with these structures, with these projects, that confer an aura on these things that, it's like the Velveteen Rabbit, that really bring them to life in a way. And we always consider ourselves to be in the service of our local stakeholders. Their vision is truly what inspires us. Their vision is our inspiration, we like to say. So lots of folks here, this being a UK event, I figured I would have to invoke the name of T.E. Lawrence, one of my great heroes, Lawrence of Arabia, thanks to Hollywood. And I'm sure there are a few people here who have read his autobiography, Seven Pillars of Wisdom. It's a great book. And there's a really famous quote in the book. It's so famous, it's like Beethoven's Fifth Symphony, which must have been extraordinary to hear that the first time. But it's a quote that's repeated so often that it's like, to some degree kind of lost its impact. But he say, "All men dream, but not equally. Those who dream by night in the dusty recesses of their minds wake to find that it was but vanity. But the dreamers of the day are dangerous men, for they may act on their dreams with open eyes to make them possible." And I think, first of all, in terms of waking dreams, in the context of an exhibition featuring virtual reality, which is the waking dream of the new millennium, I guess, it seems appropriate to invoke this particular portion of Pillars. But I think it also has another message for us in the context of cultural heritage preservation generally, but even more generally in the context of this extraordinary institution that we're visiting today. I think to some degree, what Lawrence is talking about first and foremost is that nothing is achieved without ambition and without great vision, without dreams, essentially. But at the same time, it's important that ambition and vision be informed by and directed at actual and defined needs of the moment. And it's only when you combine sort of high aim and clear insight with what a particular challenge actually requires that you really get to the point where you're achieving important goals, I think. And certainly where you get to the point that you're acting rather not out of personal ambition, but for the greater good. I think it's very important to have that sense of what the moment requires and to be there to supply it. And that's certainly the way we view the challenge that we've risen to at the IDA, identifying these moments, identifying real human needs, and trying to direct our energy toward serving them. And I think that to some degree, the tools on display tonight are a step along the road toward doing important work like identifying shared history, identifying commonalities that bring people closer together, all the things that are going to help us move forward in a way that serves the goals of this institution, which is, of course, to encourage nations to behave politely toward one another, to take actions collectively, to take actions deliberatively. I think all of those things are served by a sense that we're all in this together, that we all have this common background, and that we all have these common aspirations. I'll end by quoting Kofi Annan. He said, "More than ever before in human history, we share a common destiny. We can master it only if we face it together." And I hope what you see tonight inspires you to embrace Dr. Anand's vision of these common aspirations through memories of a common past. I was talking with someone about Alexander a few minutes ago, and so I will end with that wonderful quote from Alexander, and it's what I hope to some degree you take away tonight. Alexander said, of course it sounded better, I'm sure, in his mouth, "Upon the conduct of each depends the fate of all." And it is absolutely true. And when you see these ancient monuments that bring you right back to the core of what it is to be human, I think you can't help but feel the truth in that statement. So anyway, enjoy the exhibition. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ambassador. Great to be here.
Thank you very much, Roger. Please do stay and enjoy the exhibition and have another drink with us. Thank you.